So today I'm going to take you step by step on how to utilize the Public Investing app. So as we go through this, we're going to be talking about the settings as well as how to buy and sell stocks here on the Public app. Now, as we break this down a little bit, if you haven't already signed up for Public, we'll have a link for you in the show notes down below that does actually get you a nice sign up bonus, as well as help support out the channel so you get more free content just like this. So first and foremost, we're going to start here on the home page of Public. Now, we're currently using an iOS device, so that's what this is going to look like. It might be a tiny bit different as far as location for items on the Android version of the actual app. So just something to keep in mind when we go through this. Now here it's actually currently showing us what our value is for the stocks that we actually have in our holdings right over here. You can see we're currently toggled in for the 1 month. You can see there's a lot of different options you can have. You can do 1 day, 1 month, or sorry, 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, year to date, and all. Now, if you actually kind of like slide this a little bit down, you can actually just see the returns, which is a little bit different than just the overall value. So if you just wanted to see how your returns have been doing over that course of time, you can definitely do that as well. Now, there's a couple things we want to talk about underneath this chart. First and foremost, we're going to see our buying power right over here. It's currently $11.98. We have our equities over here at $15.95. We see our options and we see any bonds that we might have. Now, these are just different areas in which we have our money allocated towards. And as you can see here, our buying power is what's actually going to allow us to invest into other stocks or other types of securities if we wanted to here on the app. And then right underneath that is going to be our kind of like notification bar when we go into the app. These are maybe some new pieces of information and updates. And sometimes it's going to be information on the stocks you hold. If you actually go ahead and just kind of swipe to the left right over here, you're going to see all the different updates. And it was kind of counting it down as we were going over it. Now you can start over in case you kind of swiped a little too fast, or you can hit dismiss and that will go away. And then we're going to start seeing some other pieces of information here. But before we slide down, we just want to kind of point out a few things here towards the top side of the actual app. You're going to see on the right-hand side here, you're going to see the search bar. This is going to allow us to search for different types of stocks if we wanted to, or different things throughout the app. The reward section here is if you want to invite friends or family members, you do get some additional stocks for doing so. You're going to see here where it says Ask Alpha. This is going to be pretty much their AI service to kind of help you a little bit throughout using the app. And then over here with the hamburger icon, if you click on here, this will take you through the settings, which we will go through and actually break down some of the different areas in the settings, such as being able to add a bank account so you can have money starting to transfer into the app. And then when we go to the very bottom here of the app, we're going to actually see a couple of different things, such as our portfolio. We're going to see here where it says market, trade, which we'll be getting into here in a little bit, feed, as well as premium, which is their additional service if you want to pay for additional extra features. Now I mentioned too, if you actually slide down here on the actual app itself, you're going to start getting into new sections. So we're going to see yields here. If you actually have money in the account, you'll actually be earning a pretty high APY. Obviously this will change based off of when you're watching this, but just something to keep in mind. You can also put money into treasuries as well too, which is a really nice feature. And you can also see some investing plans. And then if you keep scrolling down, you're going to see your assets right over here. These are going to be the things that you already own. Now they do have options trading on this app as well, which we're not going to get into personally into this video, but of course you can watch tons of content online to learn how to do options trading. But for our video here today, we're just going to be going more on the basics of the stocks here. So you can see we have some equities, a couple different stocks here. We're going to have some information on how they're doing over the last day. And you can see there's like a little toggle button over here too that you can go ahead and tap on. And this will break down how everything is doing for this stock, how much you own of it. You can actually buy and sell more right directly from this section, but we're going to go ahead and do the full trade section here later in the video. So we're going to toggle this back over here. We're going to keep scrolling down here. You can go ahead and be purchasing crypto as well here. And then if we keep going, you're going to see your bonds section. And then we'll have alternative assets right over here if you ended up purchasing any of those. And again, we'll kind of break some of that down as well as we continue to go through the rest of this app. So now that we've kind of gone through the main page of our actual app, if you actually keep trying to slide, it's going to just kind of drop it right back down here. Now what we're going to want to do is go to our settings tab. So we're going to click on the top left little hamburger icon on here. And then this is going to take us to our settings page. Now you're going to see at the very top, I put in our photo, but of course it might just show a person icon at the moment. It'll have your name over here, your @ symbol as well too, as well as your account number. Now from here, you can actually withdraw or deposit directly, which I'll go ahead and go through that process here in just a moment. We'll also see your portfolio value, which is the same that you saw at the beginning of the video here, as well as your buying power and your brokerage cash. Now, what's really nice is you can toggle down over here on these sections and you can see pending buys, pending deposits, pending tips, which is essentially you being able to tip the company to be able to continue using it entirely for free. You don't have to, of course, but you can. And so this is really nice. So you can see sometimes when you are selling a stock, before it's available to withdraw, sometimes it has to go through a pending process. So sometimes that will happen for a lot of people where they won't have quick access to be able to withdraw after selling their stock. Now, if we're here, you're going to see the gear icon. This is going to be your account settings. You're going to have your history. If you want to transfer from other brokerages like Robinhood or Webull or M1 Finance, you can have it transfer over to public. And then any messages you might be receiving. And then the same thing with the rewards. If you click the front home button, this will take you to that same space, as well as a help center. Now from here, if you go ahead and click on the account settings, this is going to take us to a little bit more of a breakdown for us. Here we're going to see you can put your username, your password, contact information, and investing goals if you needed to. If you wanted to activate margin account, which is trading on margin, you could also do options trading here, and then your payment methods. Now there is also going to be the option to upgrade your account to a premium if you wanted to. So you can go ahead and go into this section here, and it'll show you the prices as well. Personally, not a big fan of the benefits that you get with this one, but you can try it out if you want to with a free trial. And then we're going to close that off here. And then from here, you're going to have your history, your cost basis as well. So if you tap over here, it'll show you all of your information in this account as a whole for your cost basis. If you're really curious, I want to dig a little bit deeper with your overall investing. And then from here, if we keep on scrolling down, you're going to see where you can reinvest your dividends. So if you tap over here, you can have it automatically reinvest. And in case you don't know what this means, this is essentially if a company pays you out for holding their shares, this will automatically reinvest that money back into that company that paid them out. Or you can click on Save My Dividends, which will put it into your actual purchasing power to be able to invest however you like, withdraw it, whatever you would like to do with it. So right now we currently have it toggled onto auto invest, which is a great thing to do for people who are investing for the long term. Now, next up here is going to be tipping on trades. This is, of course, very different from a lot of other apps. This is actually how Public effectively makes their money at this point. So this is currently defaulted to on, which means every time you buy or sell any stock, it's going to ask if you would like to make a tip. You can definitely toggle that off if you like, but you can, of course, read through this whole process if you would want to learn a little bit more about that. Next up here is going to be investing alerts. So this is going to be able to give you some more information when certain stocks in your watch list or any in your portfolio are hitting certain metrics. This will get you notifications on your phone. If you want to turn those off, obviously you can just go ahead and toggle those off. Now, next up here is going to be with deposits. Now, this will also be the same area where you can go ahead and deposit from the main settings page. But if you wanted to just go ahead and click on here, you'll be able to make a deposit directly in this section as well too. But we're going to go ahead and do that later on in the video. And then again, here you can transfer my stocks to public. Again, this is just the same thing with the withdraw. These are additional ways to be able to do these things instead of from the first section. We'll be able to do them down here if you needed to. Right here, you can see preferences. You can change the notification settings. So if you kind of get a little annoyed, like I do sometimes with notifications from stock companies or brokerages, I should say, that will actually be there. And then you can go ahead and enable or disable Face ID. You can also display your portfolio in your profile if you wanted to, which is available for other people to be able to see, as well as being able to turn on and off dark mode. And then of course, some really important information when it comes to your statements and your tax documents. So if you sold stock throughout the year, whether for a gain or a loss, you definitely want to be checking in here, typically mid to end of February, to get your tax paperwork to be able to give to your tax accountant. Now, even though Public is free to use, there is a fee schedule. So if you want to go in there, this is going to be typically for options trading and some other additional advanced versions of trading. If you're going to just do basic buying and selling, you can just kind of go through there and see the fees that are going to be involved with everything. Their privacy policy if you needed to, and then if you did need to close your account or even just log out of your account, you can all do that here in the back end of the settings. All right, so we went ahead and got back to our main settings page right over here where you're going to see your profile icon and your name. And what we're going to want to do is look over where it says deposit. Now, if you haven't already added your bank account on file, as you would typically do when you're opening up your account, because it'll ask you to go through that process, what you can actually do is go over here to the deposit section. So we're going to tap over here. And then in this section, we're going to have a from, a to, and then the frequency. If we actually tap onto the from, which is currently toggled onto our main bank account on file, there is going to be a section here that says add funding method. This will actually allow you to add a new bank. So if we tap here, it's going to take us to the section right over here. We can go ahead and add a bank account. You can see here it instantly links to your bank. So it typically uses one of those companies like Plaid to be able to go ahead and connect, or you can do a debit card. There are going to be bigger limitations on using a debit card, so just something to keep in mind. But if you only have access to that, definitely go that route too. So we're going to go ahead and click on bank account. We're going to click over on next now that it popped up. Now it's going to show us all of these different options for banks, but of course we can actually just search for our bank right up here at the very top. So what happens here is once we search for the bank that we're wanting to use or tap on one of those icons, it's going to take us to a page that looks just like this. It says that they are going to be using Plaid, like we mentioned earlier, to be able to connect your account. Now, this is just going to give you a brief scenario of how this all works, but it is going to have you log into your account directly here on the app for your bank account to be able to have these connected instantaneously. So we're going to click on continue here. And then from here, it's going to ask for your phone number. If you already used Plaid in the past, the nice thing is with your phone number added, it'll kind of cut you down on a few additional steps, which is really, really nice. You could also click on maybe later if you'd like to, and it'll just go to a page that looks, again, very similar to this to be able to go ahead and search for your bank again. But if you had tossed in your phone number, it'll automatically calculate which banks you've already connected. So right over here, we went and found our bank with SoFi. So we're going to plug in our email and our password, and we're going to click on submit and head over to the next page. So now once we've went ahead and logged into our account, it's going to give us the option to click on whichever bank account we want to be pulling money from. So just make sure we are toggling the correct one for ourselves and then clicking on continue once that is highlighted at the bottom. Now for our example here in this demo account, I actually already did link up that one account. So it is telling me that is already linked, but from here, it will let you know that that account now is available for you. So you would hit OK from here and or just go back to that other page, and now we will see that new bank account on file. All right, so now from here, we're going to go and again see from, and now we have that checking account that we would like, and then it's going to be to the brokerage account, which we have. And again, we can choose the frequency. So if we want to just have it one time, we could do weekly, every 2 weeks, or monthly. So we can actually have it reoccurring if we would like. For example, here today, we're just going to do a one time. Now they do have some denominations up top here, but of course you could just go ahead and put whichever amount that you would like. So if you wanted to go ahead and do $25 for this example, the next button will now be highlighted. And then from here, it is just going to verify everything looks correct for us. We're going to click on confirm at the bottom. And you can see here, now they also have the option for instant deposit, which means that we're going to actually have the access to this $25 right away. There is a limitation on how much that will actually work out for us based off of our account type. And that money we can start using to invest right away. Now, one thing to keep in mind when it comes to instant deposit, you do want to make sure, of course, that money that you're pulling from your main bank account is in the bank, as it will take a couple days to officially go through. But again, we will have access to this $25 instantly in our account. Now you saw that in real time, our money actually did go up when it comes to our buying power. And now we can go ahead and utilize that money to buy a stock, which we'll do here in just a moment. So now what we're going to want to do is, in order to buy a stock, we're going to go ahead and toggle this back off, and we're going to go back to the main page here. And we're going to swipe all the way to the very top just so we can see here now how this looks like a little bit different. You can see our total dollar amount actually did go up as well because the money in your buying power is accumulated to this top number. Just something to keep in mind there. Now, when it comes to buying a stock, obviously there's going to be the trade option right over here, and that's the way we're going to go. But if you did already own the stock, like we talked about earlier, you can go ahead and go down to your assets, whichever ones you want, like our alternative stock right here with owning Shrek Music. We can go ahead and buy some more, or we could sell it if we really needed to. Now, because we're going to go ahead and just show you the full step-by-step process to buy a stock, I'm just going to go ahead and toggle over here in the center where we see where it says trade. Now, as we continue, if you're getting value out of this free video, make sure you hit that like button down below. It really does go a long way to help out this content, as well as if you'd like to subscribe to the channel. We're actually entering up so much closer to 100,000. And we're really excited to be able to continue doing the hard work of supporting everybody understanding their financial apps that much better. Now, once we toggle on trade, the first thing that comes up here at the top is to be able to search. So you can type in a company either by their full company name. You could also look for their ticker number. And then right over here, we can see the different types of investments. We can look at investment plans. We can look at individual stocks, ETFs, which are effectively groups of stocks. We could do options trading, bonds, crypto, or the alternative assets. We could also put our money in the high yield cash if we wanted to, treasuries as well. And then again, we could also do another deposit. Just breaking all this down so you can see all these different options. And so for our example here today, we're going to go into stocks itself. And the first thing it's going to do is going to show you some of the most popular stocks. So if you wanted to be seeing kind of what is popular here on the app, you can kind of be scrolling through here and seeing all the different stocks that are currently available. If you know which stock you're wanting to look into, you can go ahead and tap here at the bottom, or at the top, I should say, and type in whatever company it is. For our example here today, we're going to go with SoFi. So we're actually going to go here. So once we clicked on SoFi, this actually takes us to SoFi's effectively like home page, so to speak. And this will show you how the stock has been doing. Very similar to the main page of the overall portfolio. You can actually see this individual stock based off of different time frames, like that 1 day, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and so on and so forth. You could also see a little bit more about the company as well, too, if you want to learn a little bit more. And then down here, you can actually see a lot of the stats, such as like market cap, PE ratio, EBITDA, all the different information you might be needing to make a decision on actually purchasing this stock. If you keep going down, you're going to see its earnings per share as well too, which is really nice, as well as any research information. And then if you keep going down all the way down here, you're going to see latest information. And then something really unique when it comes to utilizing the public app, you're actually going to see commentary and comments from people purchasing and selling this stock, as well as putting it in their watch list. So if you want to be reading more about it, learning more, you're going to see people either asking questions, inquiring about it, or just, putting in their thoughts when it comes to this stock. Now, obviously, up to you if you want to like post on here as well too. You can definitely do that, or you can kind of keep to yourself and not have any messages go out. When you are purchasing a stock, I'm going to go through this process and show you how you can actually share with everybody if you'd like that you are making purchases or selling a particular stock. Now, the community section you saw was for this stock in particular, but there is going to be a full one as well too when it comes to talking to everybody, and that's going to be in the feed section, and we'll break that down here a little bit more in just a moment. So as far as purchasing this company, what we're going to do is actually go over here where you're going to see the trade, and then when you see trade, it's going to come up with a couple different options here for you. Since we don't own the stock, the only option here is going to be buy, recurring buy, or trade options. Now, if you want to do recurring buy, you can go through that process, but for today's example, we're just going to do a regular one-time purchase. And what it's going to do is it's going to show us here to be able to buy this company. Now, we can actually buy in what they call fractional shares, which allows you to buy by just a base dollar amount, not necessarily by having to buy a full share of the company. You can, however, do that if you would like to. The very powerful thing of being able to buy by the dollar amount is you don't have to worry about saving a bunch of money to be able to buy one share of a company. Now, for our example, SoFi is not a very expensive company, so with that $25, we could definitely buy more than one share. Now from here, there's a couple different things we want to go over. So on the top left is actually going to be probably the most critical thing first and foremost. We're currently under what they call a market buy. So if we actually toggle over here, there is going to be a couple different options on how you can buy stocks from this company. Now you can see here, it's going to be buy in dollars, which is the fractional shares we just talked about. You could also buy in full shares, which is going to be the exact amount of shares that you want. So if you don't want to have like 3.45 shares, you would want just exactly like 4 shares, for example, you would go through on full buys. Now, there are also some conditional orders, which is buying in extended hours, which you do have to have the premium version for. You could also do limit orders, which says, I want to only buy it at up to this amount, which is a really nice way to make sure that you're buying at an exact dollar amount you're willing to pay for it, as well as stop order as well. So there's a couple different ways to go through this process to buy. For our example today, especially just making this super simple, we're just going to buy in dollars, which is already what it's toggled as. So it's going to take us back to this page. And then back here, there's a few things we want to talk about. First, it's going to obviously say the ticker number right over here, verifying that we're on that right company. It's going to show us that we're doing it by the dollars. Currently, it's showing $0. We're going to obviously type in the amount. Right here, you can see it says buying power. It's currently $36.98 because we invested in it, or we deposited an additional $25 during our process here. And then we can see our total right over here on the bottom that we will be adding. Now, obviously it's currently 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we want to put in $30 in this company. Now, the other thing too is, of course, we do have more buying power, which means we'll have $6.98 left over. Although if we really wanted to, we can actually put even $36 in here. We actually can't put a 0.98 on here, which is a little unfortunate as of this recording. Now, of course, we could have actually deposited an additional 2 cents in our account if we paid attention to then be able to do $37 as a whole, because as of this recording, yeah, we can't actually put a little point on there to be able to make it with the 98 cents. Now that we have this amount right here, this is looking pretty good. We can see the review order section here has been highlighted. So we're going to tap over here. And it's going to just break some things down. It's going to show that this money is coming in from our buying power. It's currently showing us how much the stock is actually worth. It's estimating how many shares we're going to have. This is going to be 4.42 shares, which is great, again, because we can buy in fractional pieces. And if you bought a company that was way more than the $36 we're putting in, let's say it was trading in for $100, you would get 0.36 shares, which is still a really great way to go to be able to start investing with your money. We'll see the total order amount and the total cost here. And we're going to go ahead and click on place order here at the very bottom. And right over here, it says order has been received. Now, as we're recording this, this is off market hours. So this is actually not going to go through until a little bit later for us. So you can actually wait a little bit right here. You can see at the bottom, it says that on the next market open, this will be executed on our price. Now, something to keep in mind too, with this $36, it might actually be a little bit less than that. So we actually might have a few cents come back into our account if it doesn't utilize it all. At this amount with this stock price, we'll most likely have that all used up. And then we're going to go ahead and click on done here at the very bottom. Now, like I mentioned earlier, they have that social media thing, and that thing actually just kind of went away really quickly. We are able to create a post if we wanted to about our trade coming up, if we wanted to share that information, if we wanted to talk about why we're purchasing, anything that kind of comes along with that when it comes to going through and posting about it. Now, you can still go in here and create a post if you wanted to later down the road. And then you can see here, if you upgrade to the premium, you do have access to a community activity feed as well. So for us right over here, this is looking really good. If we wanted to go ahead and cancel our pending order, of course, we can just tap right over here and then tap on the actual order right here, and then you're going to see everything to be able to cancel here at the very bottom. But this is looking good for us, so we're going to actually go ahead and leave this as is, so to be able to get triggered and go through on the very next trading day. All right, so let's go ahead and close this section off right over here. And now next up, what we're going to want to do is actually learn a little bit more about selling as well. So what we're going to do is go back to our main portfolio tab right over here. So we're at the main page of our app again. We're going to go ahead and slide down here for us, and we're going to see our Tesla stock right over here. If we tap over here, we don't have a lot of stock on this one. This is just a demo account for us. So what we're going to do is tap on our Tesla, and what we're going to see here is a little bit more information. Now, because we've already owned the stock for a little while, we see a little bit of different information here for us. This is showing us our overall equity is down for this position. We're going to see our total gains here that we have, current value, total cost, as well as unrealized gains. Not doing so great with this one at the moment. And then we can see our total shares of the company. Now, this kind of just breaks things down a little bit more. I love it because it just gives us some really good information. We've definitely been holding this for a long time. As well as if we keep scrolling down, you'll see the original information that we saw earlier with SoFi, as far as like market cap, PE ratio, and then like this 52-week highs as well too. And if you kept scrolling down, you're going to see where we have that section again for the community. So you can be seeing what other people are saying and being able to make comments, hit likes as well too, and even share that information with other people. Now for our example here today, for being able to trade this, if we click on the trade button here, unlike the original SoFi process, we're going to see here the option to be able to sell our stock since we own it. So we'll click on sell, and right over here at the very top again, we're going to be looking here and it says market sell. So just something to keep in mind, if you tab over here, it's going to take you to that section to be able to sell in shares if we wanted to sell in extended hours, as well as doing limit orders for this as well. Now, again, we're going to just keep it at the selling at the dollar amount. And from here, again, it's going to show us the ticker symbol, making sure we're on the right company. It's going to be telling us how much we have available to sell, which is going to be $11.87. Now, you can see right over here, what we're going to do is go ahead and say we're just wanting to sell $5 worth of the stock because for whatever reason, we just want to get rid of a little bit of this. Now, what we're going to do is click on review order here at the very bottom. And here it's going to show us a little bit more information, telling us the market price currently, the estimated amount of shares we're selling, which is 0.0258. The amount that we're selling, and then any regulatory fees. So this one's going to be 2 cents on here. Now, after that fee, you're going to see right here, it says one-time tip. It has $1 on here. If we wanted to, we can actually toggle this on and off, and then it'll show you that difference in the dollar amount. So if you toggle that on, it'll show you that $1 being added to the tip. And then right there, the sales processed would be $3.98. Again, you can have this toggled on and off, whichever way you would like. And then you can click on place order right over here at the bottom to be able to go through. And then this is going to have it pending for the next market open to be able to go through the process to sell the stock. And we can click on done here at the very bottom. Now, just like the other one, you can actually go ahead and create your post right over here. If you wanted to explain why you're selling, why you're maybe taking a small position out of Tesla or whatever stock that you have available. And then you can have people commenting on that post as well. Now, when it comes to seeing the larger feed, when it comes to the community, we're going to actually go ahead and toggle over here in the feed section. And this is going to be our overall feed. Now, this is going to be first and foremost under trending. There's also news, following, and saved. So you can kind of go through here and read what other people are saying. Most of the time, you're going to also see a lot of the companies that you are currently already invested in or have on your watch list as well. If you don't have anything on your watch list or any stocks yet, this will just kind of be a little bit more generic for you. So it's a little bit curated based off of your portfolio and what you have. You can also have quizzes, you can talk to people, you can follow other people's investments. So if you actually click on somebody themselves, you actually see if they have it publicly available, what they're also invested in as well, plus all of their other trades that they've done in the past as well too. Now this one's actually somebody from Public themselves. And so what we want to do is currently we're on post, and if you click over here on assets, this will show you all of their current assets. They actually do not have them public, which is kind of funny. So we're going to actually go back to another person. Let's see this guy right over here. And we're going to go ahead and, well, first and foremost, it's currently on assets, and you can actually see what they're currently invested in, all of these companies right over here. Well, quite a few actually. So from there, it switches over to posts as well. So you'll be able to see their posts and then anything that they saved as well too. So if you wanted to kind of follow along and see what they're up to, you can do that. And then of course you can actually just follow their portfolio as well too, if you were interested in doing so. Now, if they have their settings available, you can actually even message the person, which is really interesting. You could see their following and how many people they are following as well. Now, when it comes to learning more about the actual stocks that you're interested in, or just seeing how the market's doing as a whole, you can tap over here on markets, which is that globe icon. And you can see upcoming earnings, which I absolutely love. I love seeing when companies are announcing their earnings. And then you can also compare different funds so that way you can kind of get a better idea of how everything is going. You can see equities right over here. And then you can, again, have the charts for yourself. And then if you keep scrolling down here, you're going to see different sections like top movers. You're going to see things like earnings that are coming up. You can also see top bond yields right over here as well too. So there's a lot of great information here. It can seem a little overwhelming, especially if you're just getting started with investing. But one thing I always recommend is that if you kind of keep divulging into this information over time, more and more of it's going to keep on making sense for you as well. So if you're somebody a little bit newer to investing, still recommend coming in here, even if it seems a little overwhelming at times with the data. If we tap over here with the earnings calendar, this is the area where you can actually see different companies and when they're going to have their earnings. So for example, here on Tuesday, February 13th, Airbnb, which is a company I actually own outside of this demo account, is going to have their earnings, so we can actually see when their earnings is going to be happening, so we can pay a little bit more closer attention if we wanted to. So the really nice thing is you can kind of just go through here and see them, or if you have the company in your watch list or portfolio, you'll be able to see that information pop up as well. Now there's a few other little tabs, and I'm also going to show you to be able to withdraw money from your account as well too. So what we're going to do is quickly look over here on the premium side. This is that premium section that we saw earlier before. If you wanted to buy the annual version, it's going to save you a little bit more money versus if you did monthly. If you scroll down here, you can see all the benefits. And again, you can also start with a free trial if you wanted to. Not something I personally would do myself when it comes to using this, especially if you're just getting started. I'd probably wait on that personally. Now, we mentioned earlier as well too, there is the Ask Alpha. If you actually tap over here on this one, we actually had to approve this. This is just telling you a couple different things that it's going to show you right here. It actually is powered by ChatGPT 4 as of this recording, as well as a couple other pieces of information, such as it's not actually inviting you to invest in certain things, so there is no recommendations. But if you actually slide here and agree, this is going to allow you to go ahead and ask any additional questions that you might have. It might even be quicker than going to the help center if you wanted to go ahead and use it. I don't personally use it too much on my main account, but it is something available for you there. Now, as we continue on, I do also want to show you what the high yield looks like right over here for you if you are interested in actually getting a high yield on your money. So if you actually wanted to just tap into this section, this will actually tell you a little bit more about this. You're currently earning 5.10 APY. Of course, as of this recording, that can go up and down. It is secured as well through FDIC insurance, as well as no account fees. If that is something you're interested in doing, of course, we can tap over here on the next button. You are officially opening up an account, so just something that you need to be aware of. And you can click on the I agree, and that will take you through the following steps to have your account open and have money transferred in so you can start earning a high APY. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and go to the main settings right over here on the top left again. And then here, we're going to see right under our profile photo, we're going to see the withdraw section right over here. We're going to tap on this section, and this is going to look fairly similar to the deposit section, but of course it says withdraw here at the top. If you wanted to see this little icon right over here, it'll tell you why maybe sometimes you don't have your full amount available to withdraw. So for example here, even though we have like $36.98 in the account, this is going to show you that part of the reason why it's because it's depending deposits or any other like unsettled funds as well too. So it's really nice that they give you this because that will happen sometimes. And then it'll show you that it's external account that is attached. If you have multiple accounts, you'll be able to choose different ones. So if we wanted to go ahead and send, let's say $10, we can go ahead and put 10, tap on the next button that is now highlighted. And then from right over here, you can see we're going to be able to choose the account that we have on file. It takes anywhere from 3 to 5 business days, and it is entirely free. You can also go ahead and add additional accounts. If you have a debit card, you can have it transfer instantly with an additional fee. I personally don't like doing that, but if you needed it quicker, you can go that route. Just make sure it is a typical debit card. So then we're going to go ahead and tap over here on next. It's going to give us a brief overview of everything, making sure it all looks good. Kind of gives us a time frame of when it will be available in our bank account. We're going to click on confirm. And you can see right here, the $10 has been initiated. We're going to click on done at the very bottom. And then it's going to ask you a quick question of why. You can just hit other if you really wanted to, and then hit submit, or you can hit skip if you wanted to, which I'll do right there. And then you can see right over here, our buying power actually went down by $10, although our brokerage cash is still up a little bit. So just something to keep in mind when you are going through and wanting to buy things. Additionally, after having done withdrawal, just making sure that you understand that difference between the buying power as well as the brokerage cash because of the difference in time for that money to be withdrawn or deposited into your account. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I will have a link for you in the show notes down below when it comes to signing up for Public. That link will give you a nice sign-up bonus as well as help support out the channel so we can make more free content just like this. Now, speaking of free content, I'll have another video right up here on the screen for you so you can keep on learning and growing when it comes to utilizing your financial apps.